hit the record button. We're gonna go live. We're already live, but we're gonna start it right now. So let me
Awesome.
play the music. There we go. What the shit? Hold on.
I'm gonna pop out your chat so that I can see it.
All right. Okay. I'll have to clip it later. So I'll just remember to do that. PUGCast start.
My Wi-Fi has been acting up, so I'm afraid that I'm going to disconnect for some reason.
All right. Hello, boys. Welcome to episode, what is this? Episode 14 or 15 now of PUGCast, I think?
15.
Episode 15. That's crazy.
15.
That's crazy. Welcome,
It's a
guys.
good number.
It's a great number. Welcome to the 15th episode. We have a very special guest. We have Corporate Loser joining us for the show. So let's go, boys. There it is. Very
Let's get
nice.
a round of applause, chat. Round of applause
Nice.
for Corporate
Very
Loser.
good. Very good. Welcome. We have I made this
Welcome,
panel
sir.
on stream right now. Like, we made it like on stream. It was very epic.
Dang, it looks
True.
nice.
So quick too. Very nice. Well, let's just get started, man. Let's just get into the show and start talking about WoW and
Yeah.
just have a good time, boys.
What are we going to talk about this week?
Man,
What
well,
are we going to talk about?
dude, I actually played beta this last week. I actually played some beta.
Really?
Surprisingly,
No, you did
yes,
not.
I did. I did a whole dungeon as two-hand Frost DK.
Getting
I
lag.
was fucking it up, dude.
Oh.
I was messing everything up, man.
Are you good? Were you,
Wait,
you
are we
testing
good?
out your, what do you say?
I'm good.
Okay.
I lagged for a second, but now I'm good.
All right,
Hopefully I'll
Okay.
stay good.
Alright,
I might
perfect.
need
Well-
to mess with stuff.
Corporate Loser.
Gotcha.
Good friend of the channel.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited just to like hang out and talk about WoW. And we always start
Yeah.
off with the first question: is how did you get started playing World of Warcraft?
So, I started playing WoW when I was 11. I remember, because this would have been late Burning Crusade, because I'm 23 now.
Oh my god, you guys are so young.
My dad, one day just randomly was like, "Hey, have you heard of that game World of Warcraft? I heard it has good graphics." My dad doesn't play video games, so it's kind of
Yeah.
weird for him to be like, it's a cool game that I've heard of. And so then, I look it up, I see free trial, and I go ahead and download it, and then, I'm playing, and my brother comes home from, baseball practice or whatever, and he sees me playing, and he's like, "Dude, I was gonna download this game today." Him and his friend talked about it, and they
Nice.
were like, "Oh, we should start playing WoW," and then my brother comes home, and I'm already playing it.
It's like it was meant to be. Like it didn't matter whether your dad told you or your brother told you. Like you would end up playing. You'd end up playing the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I met friends, not necessarily in game, but a year or two after that, this kid during PE was talking about World of Warcraft. I was like, "Oh, you play World of Warcraft?" And now he's one of my best friends.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't meet anybody who played WoW in my school until maybe my sophomore year. So this was at the end of Wrath, the very end, like 2009. So because I graduated in 2011. So yeah.
Yeah.
So 2009, and I met my buddy, and we took art. We was in art class, and I was drawing something World of Warcraft related, and he's like, "Oh, you play WoW, dude?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh,
I
the
was like,
Lich King
I was
helmet.
like,
Oh.
"Hey, I'm gonna get that tattooed, man. It's gonna be freaking sick."
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, man, it was in my school, it was I had a really weird demographic in my school, and I was I was one of the only nerdy kids. It was I don't know. I just there was nobody who played WoW. No one was a nerd in my school.
So
it
you were
sucked.
the only one,
It sucked,
to your
man.
knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one.
Yeah.
Everyone was a closet World of Warcraft gamer. That was
literally
big
everybody.
back in the day. Nobody
Everybody.
wanted to admit it. Nobody
Literally,
wanted to admit
yeah.
that they played WoW until it became mainstream.
It's fucking sad. I know, me
Yeah.
me and my best friend, we were just oh, you want to come over tonight? We would play WoW.
Yeah,
we'd
you're,
stay up all night,
whispering.
whatever. We would never talk about it in the proximity to our other friend group, right? We would be out to lunch, and all the friends would be talking
Yeah.
about the girls or
Listen.
partying, and me and my friend were like, "Yo, did you get fucking
Did you-
the shoulders of whatever the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I
Yup.
cleared that dungeon.
Yeah, I remember me and my friend right before Wrath came out, we decided we would race to level 55 so that we could create Death Knights together. So
yeah.
and I think I won the race. It's hard to remember because that was 11 years ago. But yeah, we raced to 55 because that was the level requirement to create a DK. And then I barely played DK and Wrath. We both played Paladins.
Yo, Meta, thank you for the raid, dude.
He was a Paladin, I was a Holy Paladin, and now I'm a prop Paladin.
Just Paladin and Wrath of the Lich King was just so good back in Wrath. Like Paladin
it really
was just so good, dude.
I remember in Wrath, like, because I really wanted to play a Death Knight, and then I was noobing it really hard from late vanilla when I started until Wrath, until Mop, but that's a different story. But basically until Wrath, like I needed to get to 55 to make it Death Knight. I'm like, fuck, I want to be a Death Knight so fucking bad, but I'm like level 40 or 30 something. I gotta do this. So then I was like, it was in BC. I didn't even get to fucking max level until Wrath. So I was I was rushing myself. I'm like, yo, I gotta get to 55. And then I got to 55, and I'm like, peace. Like I was manning a druid from vanilla till Wrath. I'm like, peace, druid. I'm never fucking playing you again. I'm playing DK, and I main DK all the way until Legion, and then the Demon Hunter came out. I'm like, okay, this is for me.
Dude.
But yeah,
I hate Demon Hunter. Like I know that's the class you play, and if that's what you don't play, like that's fine. My guild will still accept you, all that good stuff. But like, I don't know, man. Like I just whenever I saw Demon Hunters coming out, like I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then I saw that they were another leather class, and I'm like, really, another leather class? Like we need another one of these? Like didn't we just get Monk like a couple years ago? Like what the fuck, dude?
Here's a question.
And then it's like 4 buttons, and you're like the most OP fucking class in the entire game.
Listen. Imagine not playing a Demon Hunter and not being able to fly around and fucking speed around everywhere. Okay.
I can imagine. It's great.
Yeah. Are you planning on going Paladin for Shadowlands?
No, so the one time I broke playing Paladin was Legion. I switched to Shadow Priest, and it was the most fun I ever had in WoW.
Yeah.
And when BFA was announced and we're in beta and all these things, I was looking at Shadow Priest, and I was like, this does not look fun at all. Mm-hmm. So I went back to Paladin with the intention of playing Prot. I played Prot all through Battle for Dazar Lore. I did not play Eternal Palace, and then when I came back for 8.3, my guild had already filled on tanks, so I had to go Ret, which and now I'm made fun of for playing a Ret Paladin. Yeah. Well, which, I mean, I like it.
Ret Paladin is
actually fun.
It's fun.
I like
it. It is fun.
They're just getting fucked in Shadowlands. They're getting nerfed so hard in Shadowlands. It's like they get buffed damage wise, and then they get nerfed to the ground. And it's like this vicious cycle of
Savix is not pleased.
Yeah, he's not. We already had a whole discussion
and neither
about
is McConnell.
That. But that's kind of the reason why I'm sticking with Death Knight going into the extension, because I feel like Death Knight fits the theme really good, because it's obviously it's a death expansion, but I don't know, I played Paladin on the beta, whenever I first got it, I did the intro quest, and I was like, I'm dying super easy, what the fuck's going on, dude? I'm I can't even fight two mobs at the same time, and then I hit Wake of Ashes expecting to go big dick. I only got 3 holy power, and I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yikes.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
Why is this?
And
yeah, it's bad.
Divine Toll looks like a cool ability, but
it is really cool
with everything else. And on top of that, I'm more so not switching off of Paladin. I'm more so switching to Shadow Priest, because Shadow Priest, once they announced the changes, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This looks so much fun.
It's really.
Did you play it on the PTR? Did you? I mean, I remember seeing your tweets saying you playing PTR. Yeah, so what did you think of it?
I thought it was great. It feels like a brand new class. Looking at where it was before the changes, I was like, I guess I'm gonna try a new class, and then they announced the changes. I'm like, cool. I really want to jump into this and test it out. And then when they put free patch on PTR, I was like, sweet, and it feels amazing. The whole new Void Form mechanic, it plays very well. I have no complaints. At least the little bit I played it.
The little bit that I played of it, I've always alted a hard alted. I have every single fucking character maxed out. So the Shadow Priest is on the bottom of the list of alts that I play, because I've always just felt it's just like you dot it up and then you use that fucking drain life ability, and it's just like
you're like a scuffed
okay.
affliction warlock.
You're a scuffed affliction warlock, yeah. So like, I don't know. I it didn't really feel that different to me. I mean, like, because I've never mained it, obviously. So I'm like, I don't know. I could just be like a Shadow Priest noob. But when I played it on the beta, it just didn't really feel too different, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'll just stick with.
I've always had the Shadow Priest as an alt, and like for the most part, it was like, oh, this is like Scuffed Affliction or whatever. It's just another dot caster class. Who cares? And then when Legion came out, it was like, oh, this is something new. This is something different with this new mechanic, and that's why I switched to it. That's why I'm switching back to it again. Like that whole them changing the game with this specific spec, just they do it really well, and I know that I'm probably switching into a spec that's going to be hard nerfed and changed in like 2 patches or 1 patch. So.
Yeah, probably.
But like, I don't care. I want to have that fun at the beginning of the X-Pack.
Well, not yeah. I kind of feel like DK's gonna get nerfed because of like the whole AOE ability. Like DKs are just so strong AOE wise. Like they're like the only like melee class that actually has AOE. Like everything else is just like their new cleave mechanic where like it hits like 4 to 5 or whatever. But like DK is like Frost Scythe hits everything, Death and Decay hits everything, Remorseless Winter hits everything. Whenever you like,
I was messing around with the Frost DK in Torghast recently. I think I found the one. I used to main DK, dude. And now I love them again.
Whenever as soon as pre-patch hits, like I'm going 2-hand Frost because that's what I played on the beta. Like whenever I played beta, it was last week. I was playing with Jim Bob Jr. and I think Stabby was there, but we did a dungeon and it was like the level 60 pre-made or whatever, right? So we did the Maldraxxus dungeon, which was really fun and actually pretty challenging. Like I think that it needs to be tuned a little bit, but like we were like wiping like it was like a heroic dungeon. We were getting fucked up. Like it was like it was actually like difficult, but I think it's because of like numbers tuning and things like that. But like I was just like top of the meters every single time because I was just able to AoE everything. Like it was just nice. Like it was fun. Like I was like, I'm good. Like hey, I got this. But yeah.
What do you guys think of them not adding a new class to Shadowlands?
It doesn't really
because that was a big topic. Like everybody's like, oh, this is gonna be a new class expansion because if you follow the order,
I was expecting.
Yeah, everybody was expecting
like Tinkerer or like some sort of like death-ish themed one, right?
I think the thing with it is I don't know. I really care about WoW lore, so when I think about like, oh, what class could they make? The only one I can think of is Necromancer, which is like that is one that people have been asking for forever. But they don't seem like they want to do it. And the other thing with Necromancer is that's very tied to Maldraxxus. So I don't see it really making sense in the lore for them to add one, because like Death Knights is like, okay, it's Wrath of Lich King, there's Death Knights, that makes sense. Monks and Demon Hunters, all of those make sense with their expansion, and I don't really see one making sense with Shadowlands. Plus, we already have so many classes that I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, we didn't get a class. We also got, 8 races in BFA?
That's true. We got a lot.
Allied races, but,
I have a suggestion. I have an idea for a new class. Hypothetically, if they wanted to add a new class, either in the middle of fucking Shadowlands or... is the stream lagging, or I thought it was just me?
I had like some buffering. I wasn't sure.
Well, my stream is lagging just because my internet is, I think, messed up. But I don't know. Anyway,
I just make sure. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So my suggestion for a new class, a Wraith class, and you draw upon the powers of the Shadowlands, and each spec can be Covenant themes. You can have 4 specs. Tank, healer, really DPS,
cool. And it'd have to be like
DPS.
like a melee DPS and then like a caster DPS.
Exactly. Yes. Maybe. I don't know.
I think they should do new specs. They should add like a new spec to every single class. I think that'd be a really cool. I know, like it'd be like balancing it would be fucking abysmal, right?
Yeah.
Like like, you know, like everyone would hate it because balancing would be so bad. But like, I almost like whenever the game's not perfectly balanced because it's fun. It's fun to like to fuck people up in the game. Like, it's fun to be like super overpowered. Then you get nerfed and then it's not as fun. But like, as long as the gameplay of the spec is fun, like that, you know, that shouldn't really matter if you get nerfed a little bit to like balance it out. But like, it'd be
like the constant class tuning shit is just kind of exhausting. It's just like,
is.
oh, I play this class, I feel great, and I love my class, and
it's
then
like they get one.
The next
it's like
day,
they get one complaint, and it's like, oh, gotta
exactly.
fix it.
The next day, Ian Hazzikostas is gonna whip out his strap on, you know, and just be like, okay,
and just take
here
Paladins
we go.
to Pound Town again.
Exactly, and it's because AdamShwaginz has Florida internet. Yeah, it's probably true. Thank you.
True.
That's exactly why. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just kind of exhausting, and like, I'm glad that they're like actually taking the time to like fix the current classes, and that's definitely why they didn't want to add anything new. So hopefully, maybe next expansion or maybe later in Shadowlands, they can add something when everything is all.
They need to add. They need to add another male class. They need to add another male armor class because there's only two.
It would be cool.
They have. There's like, I don't know. It makes me so mad that they didn't make male, like a demon hunter's male, because like,
I don't get it.
That would have gave hunters and shamans more transmog options, right? And like really good transmog options, and like, you know, like we already have, like we have 3 of everything except for leather. We have 4 and then 2 male. Like, it just doesn't. It's just weird. Like, it just doesn't. I don't know why. Like it's.
I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, like, it just feels like it made sense for demon hunters to be male because you have 3 plate, 3 cloth, already 3 leather, and 2 male. It's like, okay, come on, why aren't they male? Oh no, we'll make them leather.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they ever make a Tinkerer class, which I don't really know like how Tinkerer class could be.
I don't think they would.
I think because like Tinkerer is like basically like engineering. Like, we already have engineering as a profession. I don't think that they would like expand on that and make that a whole ass like class.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like I think like maybe like reworking the specs to where like unholy is more like let's say like for like example like unholy DKs are like more like caster. Like, you have a lot more like ranged abilities and casts, and you kind of summon more like more undead. I think that would be a lot cooler than adding Tinkerer or like, I don't like the whole like Wraith idea is really cool, but I know that's like, you know, that's like a meme right now. It's like a meme class. It's like they just made
one thing this conversation kind of made me think of is like kind of how, as people like pointed out earlier before the podcast, that I've been playing a lot of Divinity. In Divinity, it feels like you can kind of build your class however you want. So, like, in Divinity, I play a ranger. But my ranger is different than, like, if someone else made a game, their ranger would be built completely different unless we were both following the same guide, which we're not, because I'm building kind of as I want. And that's kind of something I'd love to see in WoW, and hopefully Covenants, if they work properly, do this.
They won't.
Is like, oh, you're a Bastion Paladin, so you're gonna play differently than a Revendreth Paladin. You both ideally are still balanced, and I'm sure this is like Blizzard's thinking with it is, oh, they'll both be balanced, but they'll have different pros and cons and different ways that they can play the class because they're, you know, part of different covenants. And if it works, if that's actually in the game, that would be amazing. But then you have the issue of like, oh, I have this paladin build and I want to switch to this other paladin build for this other scenario, and then you get into the whole covenant swapping thing, which is its own mess.
I don't know why like they just, like I used to be like very like non-confrontational about the whole covenant thing. It's like, oh yeah, like what, fucking who cares, like, right? Like, if you can't switch it, who, like, no big deal. But then again, I'm like, well, I think not switching your covenants is not as big of a deal as like switching your soulbinds. Switching your soulbinds is like so abysmally bad right now. Like, especially if you fuck up and you put the wrong thing in, then and if you already reset it, you're fucked for the week. Like, you can't fix it. Like, you can't go back. Like, once you set it, it's good. Like, you're done. You only have one fuck up, right? You can only do it once. And I think like they're like, oh well, you know, only the hardcore players are gonna want to be switching. No, like let people do it, right? Like there's people who want to test out different Azurite essences or different Azurite traits. Like it's the same thing. It's really the same system. It's just it's almost like how like whenever we had like the light and the void tree back in Legion in Argus, and they just basically made it into a circle for Azurite, and then they made a gold. Then they put like a gold cost behind it. Like why had the gold? Why had the gold cost? There was no gold cost for the void and shadow one in Argus. Like it's the same. Yeah. It's the same system. Just don't like why. I
don't know.
I feel like everything is like so gated with Blizzard. Like Blizzard just like wants everything to be so difficult. Like they don't want you to play the game. Like they want you to like suffer.
It's purgatory content.
Yeah.
I think I said it in Stay Safe stream because he was talking about the same thing where everything is just like gated behind some stupid shit and just like you're always waiting for 9.0 is gonna be good. 9.0 is shit. 9.1 is probably gonna save WoW. 9.1 is shit. 9.2 is gonna be the savior. Nope, purgatory content, man. You're just constantly waiting for shit to happen. And it's just I don't know, man. I don't understand. Yeah, go ahead.
That kind of gets at the pull the ripcord thing. Is like
I
tweeted out like a week ago, maybe less than that the whole pull the ripcord thing very much feels like they design with that intent, because you look at Legion legendaries and during beta people were like, oh, I don't know how I feel about the RNG. There's obviously going to be a best one. Why can't I target that specific one?
Yep.
And then they're like, oh well, we're going to release that in 7.1. or whatever. We're gonna release that in a bit, and then with like corruptions, it's like we're gonna release the vendor later. Like they obviously already had the vendor ready to go, and with Legion legendaries, with Azurite, with corruptions, and then now with covenants, probably they have a fix in mind. And as Ian even said on Preach's stream, like, oh, we have a ripcord, and if we have to pull it, we will. It's like, why do you have to have a ripcord? And if you have to pull it, then you will. Why not just
start with that already?
Put that in the game because it's gonna fix the game. Why are you releasing
it's
it?
like why are they even mentioning that they have a ripcord?
Like,
and it's like
the fact that he mentioned it, that means it's gonna fucking get pulled.
Well, it's like it's like Blizzard is like holding a carrot in front of your face, and it's like the carrot is free customization. You can test things out. You can swap your covenant. You can swap your ability. Like, you can use any ability for whatever situation you're in, and it's like it's right there in front of you, and like it's, but like you're already like motivated to play it. So like you're still gonna play the game. Like why not just have them give you the carrot? Like just give it to you at the start, because like we're already gonna play the game. Like these decisions, like it hurts their numbers. Like if all they really care about is like player retention and player numbers and sub fees and all that kind of shit, like why not make the game as good as possible? Because if you make the game really good, people are gonna fucking buy it. Like people are gonna play it. It's World of Warcraft. It's like the most addicting game ever. Like I cannot quit World of Warcraft. I've tried so many times. I just cannot quit. And like,
the amount of times I've unsubbed, it's crazy.
Like,
I'm on sub right now, but I'm still playing beta. I'm like leveling. I'm leveling a level 12 druid just on my off time because I can't not play some WoW. You know what I mean? Like I have to play something. Like, and there's just nothing that has ever scratched the same itch that WoW can. You know what I mean? Like we talk about this all the time. Like other games, right? Like there's no other game that I want to play, and it sucks. And that's why like we want to save this fucking game, because if it's not good and it dies and nobody fucking plays it anymore, then what are we going to have? Ashes of Creation? Like, hopefully. Who knows if that's even going to be good? New World? We can talk about New World in a little bit. New World was actually really fun, but...
New World is also, like, really fucking broken, too. And, like, it's almost, like, so bad
it's in beta.
It's so bad that it's
very
good.
much in beta.
It's like it's like a game that's, like, fun if you have, like, a bunch of buddies and you're, like, doing whatever you want to do. Like, you're just dicking around. But I think, like, as like a game, like whenever I think it needs a lot of work before it's like ready to release. It needs a lot of fixing, because I saw like Savix and Guzu were saying like they both wanted to play together, but like Guzu spawned up here, Savix spawned down here, and like they just like there's no like starting zone. Like there's like multiple starting zones. You can't pick it. Like you just get thrown in there some random. And like I feel like just let him pick a starting zone. Let him play together.
Mm-hmm. I'm on the same server as Rich Campbell, and one of the days that he was on, I wasn't doing anything, and I logged on to New World, and then I looked at where he was on the map, and I looked at where I was, and I was like, do I really want to run that distance just to hang out with him while he crafts or like kill random beasts? No, and I logged off. Because like grouping up with your friends is kind of difficult because I didn't actually try to do any of the fast travel points, but I'm pretty sure you have to go to the location first before you fast travel to it, right?
Yeah, that's what I would assume. It's kind of like Skyrim.
So then,
like you have to go there first.
Like, whereas like in WoW, if I want to group up with my friend, say we're both playing Classic, which I have a friend I play Classic with a lot. We're both the same level, but like I logged in the other day and I was all the way in freaking Ungoro, and he was over in Hinterlands. And we're like, oh, we want to group up. Let's meet up in Orgrimmar because we can just both take a flight path easily there. Or like, even if you were two different levels, usually you can meet up in a major city really easily, and there just aren't, that same functionality is not there in New World to meet up with your friends that easily.
Did you guys watch the interview with Rich? I mean, I'm sure you did, corporate, but
I watched it like 3 times. Just having to work on it.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's so weird because like whenever because I work from home, like this is like my work computer right here, and like whenever like I work from home, I watch way more Twitch when I'm working than when I'm off of work, because like I'm here and my computer's here, so I just have it on my computer in the background, so I tend to watch a lot more Twitch. But whenever I'm off of work, it's like I'm doing stuff around the house, or I'm hanging out with, I'm playing with Caroline, or, like I'm doing like dad stuff and husband stuff, right? I got other duties that I got to do. But whenever I'm working, it's like I got so much time to watch Twitch. I feel so bad because like I haven't been like watching anybody's streams just because like I can't just sit down for 8 hours and watch Twitch while I work, But hopefully soon I can get back to it. Hopefully.
Yeah. But no, the interview was good. The interview was really good. I'm really happy that they like actually are sitting down with WoW people and trying to like.
I think that's good.
Get our demographic of gamer over to their game. You know what I mean?
That's how companies should do it. Like I feel like, because New World has PvP now, right? Like they added PvP into the game, because I know like they weren't gonna.
Yeah, I didn't get to do it though.
And I know like people were like fucking pissed. I like what MMO does not have PvP, and they were like, oh okay, like this is something that they want, so they added it in there. Like I feel like, and I know like Blizzard had like it's like 3 weeks of like where they're listening to the community, and now they're just not listening to the community anymore. Like they just don't give a fuck. They're just gonna release the game how it is, and fuck everybody else. But like I feel like I honestly hope that I want like an MMO to be better than WoW. Like I seriously want a different, like I want like AOC or a New World to be like better than WoW. Because that's what WoW needs. WoW needs a kick in the ass, Like WoW needs to know that, WoW needs to know that they're not invincible. No pun intended, right?
I don't have it.
I got it last week, dude. I about cried on stream. It was insane.
But it was a great clip.
So I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get started working for Rich? Like how did you like connect with him? Yeah.
Thanks for reading my mind.
So I'll start by saying that my normal like career is in theatrical lighting. I do a lot of like lighting programming for shows and theme park stuff like that.
Nice.
And I do a lot of the electrical work for it too. And so I'm used to working like backstage and entertainment kind of stuff. And then first off, I broke my collarbone in February, which put me kind of out of commission for work for a while. And then COVID happened in March. So one after the other, I haven't, been back at work for over 6 months.
Same.
And I spent, a lot of like the first half of COVID, like I was between either just hard gaming some game. I was unsubbed from WoW at the time. So I like played all the way through like Spider-Man for PS4. I played all the way through the new Star Wars game, Jedi Order, whatever it's called.
Oh, I heard that one was I heard that one was really good. I love, as you can tell, I love Star Wars. So like, I want to try that game, but I'm playing WoW.
I couldn't finish it. It was too hard for me. I uninstalled it. I rage quit.
Yeah, and then then in May, this is such a weird thing to like bring up as like this is how I got started for Rich, but I feel like it's relevant. In May, I got a girlfriend.
Hog you!
Yeah,
it happened.
Yeah, well, and I remember sitting there with her one day, and she was like, "What's your like life plan?" And I was like, "Oh, this, and whatever." She was like, "Okay, but what's your dream job?" And I was like, either Twitch streaming or working for a stream to some extent. Like
Twitch.tv/corporate loser, by the way.
Twitch.tv/Rich W. Campbell. Subscribe to his YouTube too, because that's my job.
True.
And I was like, it's a pipe dream for me to ever work for anything for Twitch. I think a week after that, she broke up with me. It wasn't a long relationship. And then, like, within that week after she broke up with me, I was just sitting on Twitch all the time because I was like, I don't have anything better to do, really. I had resubbed to WoW, like a few weeks before that because my friend wanted to do mount runs. And then I ended up mythic rating and then getting hired by Rich. Like, I found him through Asmongold. I watched Allcraft and I was like, oh, this is like actually a cool podcast. I think it was the one they did with the S-Band. And then the after show was Zul'Gurub, where Rich is like freaking screaming his mind off. And I was like, this guy's hilarious. And just started watching his stream, and he's like, oh, I'm looking for an editor, like someone to do what Cat Danny could do. And I'm sitting here like, I have some editing skills, I could do it. He's like, yeah, if you can do it, I'll pay you. And then I just started making videos out of his streams, and he then went ahead and hired me. And now I'm 3 months down the road, two or 3 months down the road of being hired by him, and it's been a blast. I really like working for him.
That's awesome.
He's a great guy.
That's awesome.
I wish I was there for that stream because I would have tried to steal your job, but I'm glad I didn't.
Funny enough, like he hired me, and then I think he watched your videos on stream like 2 or 3 days later. It was like that.
I remember that
when he reacted to your stuff on stream, and then like I messaged you and we talked for a bit where it was like, he hasn't gotten in contact with me yet. He hasn't gotten in contact with me yet.
That feels
great.
like fucking 2 years ago. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, dude.
It was like
that
2.5 or it was 3 months ago, yeah. Because that would have been
3 months
early
ago.
June, I think. Maybe late May.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
There was a good thing to COVID. We all came together. And we were talking to yeah, exactly. We were talking to Sid too, because like Sid came over. She moved over to the east, and she just started watching Twitch, and like now she's doing a show with Tyrion and Talk of Shame, by the way, and she's fucking streaming. And like, where did you come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how like everybody's just kind of popping up.
500 subs like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Yeah, and her stream's fun. I'm looking forward to when she gets off her break.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, true.
My wife was like, "Oh, I like this girl. I'm gonna watch her streams now." And then of course that's when she takes her break. I'm like, "God damn!" My wife played WoW for like the first time. I've been trying to get her. We've been together for almost 10 years now, but like I've been trying to get her to play WoW forever, right? Since like she's known I'm play. She's
wait till pre-patch.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. But like she's known that I play WoW like ever since we got together. Like I was like, listen, like I'm not gonna beat her on the bush. Like I'm a fucking nerd and I play World of Warcraft, and like. If that's not what you want,
if you don't like it, you can get out.
If you don't like it, you can go on and get. Tuesdays are raid nights, all right? So, I can't hang out on Tuesday night because I'm raiding. And then, of course, we hung out anyways because she was, women, right?
I'm very thankful that luckily my past ex-girlfriends have always been, they were just like, oh, he's just a nerd, whatever. Like, they've been very accepting of WoW in my life. You know what I mean?
She's played video. She's like a pretty... avid video gamer too. She likes more like first person shooters. Like she was really big back when we first got together. She was really big in Gears of War, so we played that a lot together. But like she never tried WoW. Like she just like didn't. She just had no interest in it. Like she's like, oh, it's too difficult. Like there's too many buttons. There's too much going on screen, which like there is, right? Like there's a lot going on. Like
but you get used to it.
Like you just like it's not like that at the very beginning. It's like you're pressing one button and then you kind of just go from there. So she tried Exile's Reach. She really liked it. So I'm gonna get her an account set up. Whenever pre-patch happens, we'll probably level together and then kind of just go from there. So
yeah.
Corbin, have you tried Final Fantasy 14?
Not in the slightest.
Okay.
Like 3 years ago, I had a few friends that were really into it, but I just never cared to get into it. I was kind of just like, this doesn't really look like it's for me. I kind of have my one MMO that I play a lot. I'm gonna stick with that. I don't feel like leveling up because I played the Old Republic. I played Guild Wars 2. I've been down this road of trying new MMOs, and it's just like I'm never gonna hit max level. I'm gonna be like, it's a good game.
Exactly.
But both those times with the Old Republic and with Guild Wars 2, I started playing them while I was unsubbed from WoW, and all they did was get me to play WoW again.
100%.
I miss World of Warcraft. That's that happens with me, but like I've never really played any other MMO. Like I just don't have like any like urge to, like, even like Final Fantasy 14 with like Big Hero 60 like saying like, oh, like, come on dude, come join us, like come join Toes, it's so much fun. And I'm just like, like,
what do you guys think it is? What do you guys genuinely think it is that pulls us back into fucking WoW every time we try and branch out?
What is it? How many
like,
hours /play do you have, Adam? Let's ask that. I think that's
I don't know.
I think that's
I have
honestly
so many.
what
I have
it
so
is.
many. I gotta calculate it all on my characters.
You have
dude.
so much time and like invested into it, and it's like and you're comfortable. Yeah, you're comfortable playing it. You know what to expect. You know where everything's at. And I don't know, like I feel like with me, like I've been playing it for half my life, you know. So like that's like the game. That's always been like my game, you know. So like I don't necessarily want to switch MMOs.
I think I have 3 reasons that I keep coming back, and one is the memories. First off, like I remember when my guild in Wrath killed Rotface. It was one of those moments where the whole raid is dead and I'm the last person alive. I'm a paladin. I'm in my bubble and I throw a hammer of wrath and kill the boss as the last person alive. Like memories like that bring me back. The people now, because I've been in my same guild for 4 years now since the start of Legion, and they're genuinely some of my best friends. The people I play Divinity with. The other 3 people I play with are people from that WoW guild. They're people I've known for the past 4 years and I consider really good friends. And I think the third reason, it's a weird way to put it, because when I'm sitting there playing WoW, I'm realizing that my keyboard presses, I don't even have to look at my like action bar. I know where they are. I know when they're off cooldown. I know when my abilities are off cooldown. It's like playing an instrument.
Yep.
So it's like I have this rhythm to it that is really like soothing and nice. So to me, it's almost like I go back to WoW. It sounds so freaking nerdy and weird, but it's like I go back to WoW for the same reason a musician will pick back up their instrument. It's like
riding a bicycle. Yeah. Like
it's that
perfect
muscle
description.
Memory. And I'm feeling it right now where like I haven't been playing that much for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it's been, since like I'll log on to like maybe do Mythic Raid and then kill Mythic Jaina once a week, and I'll be sitting there midweek where I'm like, I want to hop back in a Mythic Plus and tank a Mythic Plus, but I'm like, no, I want to save that feeling for when Shadowlands comes out, so that then I can just have a huge blast rather than getting burnt out because I've been playing WoW constantly.
Yeah, that's kind of like why I've been avoiding beta, honestly, is because I don't want to get burnt out on Shadowlands content. Like, I did that one dungeon, and I was like, all right, I got my beta fix, I got my Shadowlands fix. That's enough to get me, to satiate me until pre-patch, until the game comes out. 49 days, by the way, 49 days till the game comes out. And
I've been kind of avoiding the majority of the beta content, and I feel really bad because I really wanted to play beta and, like, stream it and enjoy it and just go ham on it, but like all of the bullshit with the pull the ripcord and the fucking PvP scaling and just all the bullshit that we've been hearing
too. Even like
and the PvP vendor stuff, like it's just like it's turning me off from playing the game in general. And I'm like, what, like, why? I don't know. I don't want to be like negative about WoW on a WoW podcast, but that's kind of the point of having this, so we can like have a discussion and like how we can fucking, you know, vent and voice our opinions about the game. I don't know. So I've kind of been like taking a step back so I don't feel burnt out, because I feel burnt out and I'm not even fucking playing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'm burnt out on Blizzard is kind of how it feels.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know what Blizzard needs to do to like. They just need to get their shit together, man. Like they just need to They need to like.
I understand what they want to do with the covenants, just to start off with the polar ripcord stuff. Like I understand that they want like choosing a covenant to feel fucking significant and like a unique thing, and they want whatever. But I think they should just pull the fucking ripcord and then give each covenant like something more specific and unique for us to chase, like a reward or something.
Well, they already
have.
have.
I'm trying to say.
I think.
Give us more of an incentive to align with a covenant rather than the ability is good.
Well, I think.
You know what
I
mean?
think that's. I think that the whole pull ripcord thing is like allowing you to choose your ability, right? Almost like an Azurite essence, and the covenant you choose should be based off of like the aesthetic of your character. Like if you want to be
100%.
a DK and you want to go to Maldraxxus, like because that's like the the big dick DK zone, like like that, like you should like, and you shouldn't feel like you're gonna be at a disadvantage because of the covenant you pick, right?
Yeah.
Like you should be able to utilize, because the really stupid thing is like it's not even like the covenants hate each other and like they're at like war with each other. Like everyone is working together. Like they're all like different aspects of the Shadowlands, and they all work together to go against the Maw. Like that's like literally the fucking story of the game. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason if you switch covenants, you come back like your covenant hates you. No, like they shouldn't hate you. Like you're still on the same fucking team. Like
exactly.
And like it's just like
and I think having it cosmetic related would have been so much better, because if I could be like warlocks with green fire, you feel really cool if you're a warlock with green fire. You'd feel really cool if you were a paladin using these really cool blood abilities because you're Venthyr, right? You've changed like how you're a paladin, and I feel like paladin Venthyr makes sense lore wise. But like
it's very vengeance themed,
Yeah, if all like the particle effects change, that makes it really meaningful without having player power tied to it. And like
sorry to cut you off, but I had suggested before like reskinned class abilities to the aesthetic of each covenant. That would be the fucking thing to keep me like tied to a covenant.
I wish that they didn't
reskin my entire class to that theme. Yeah, exactly.
I wish.
The other weird thing with it is like, if I'm playing a Necrolord Paladin, I have 1 or 2 abilities that look Necrolord, and everything else looks Paladin.
Yeah.
I feel like you feel this like dissonance where you're mainly like, oh, I'm this righteous crusader, but I'm gonna use these death abilities. Wouldn't it be cool if you were only using these death abilities? Maybe they look like corrupted Ashbringer kind of, where it's like, I'm this Necrolord Paladin now. I've changed kind of my identity to fit this covenant rather than just my class.
Yeah, and I want to expand on that, on the whole Ashbringer thing, but I need before my brain farts out. I almost wish that they didn't do any like class specific covenant ability, and they just gave us a talent row. Just give us new talent, right? Like give us one more talent row, because like there's literally nothing from 45 on or 50 on. Like it makes no sense.
That would have been so good.
Like why not just give us a talent row, and like don't do any covenant abilities. Like you can do the movement one. Like the movement one has literally no gameplay issues, right? Like do what you want with that. Like, and just make the covenant like a fun aesthetic choice that you get it aligned with. And then going off of your comment about wait, and I totally forgot the comment you said just a couple seconds ago.
Particle effects and like class dissonance with your class abilities not matching your covenant.
Yeah, like you should be like, I don't know, like I feel like I would much rather see like a whole just a new talent row with cool different abilities, like, and make it like some big dick fucking cooldown, right? You get 3 really cool big dick cooldowns, and like one of them's like for AoE, one of them's for single target, and like one's for PvP. And just make it like that. Like, I think that'd be really cool, right? And, like, make, like, every class have, like, that one extra cool button that they get to press in their rotation. Off the GP.
This is why I'm, like, upset about the release date announcement, because it seems like there are so many different... there are so many different better, like not better ideas, but there's so many better ideas. There's so many different better ideas that you can come up with about Shadowlands that you feel like they should be adding in or working on, and they're just not. And they're just going to push the game out.
When they said Q4, I seriously thought like late November, early December.
Yeah,
I was expecting December,
not October.
Yeah,
like that's like 6 weeks away or something like that. Like it's so soon.
And here's my conspiracy theory: you can put the game out like this when you have all of those changes that people are suggesting under a ripcord.
Yeah, because they know they can just pull it. Like if they're like, oh, like player numbers are down.
Like they're not
exactly.
dumb. They know
not.
what they're doing. I don't think, like, with all of the good suggestions the community has given, and some of them are like very obvious. Like everyone was giving the suggestion of, oh, why isn't there a corruption vendor? And then WoW was like, yeah, here you go.
You're right.
Oh, that's because they probably already had it in the game. It was the ripcord. Why can't you just switch between covenants freely? Or why isn't there a talent row? I'm really excited for in patch 9.2 when a talent row gets put in the game.
Yeah. That'd be a really cool patch, like a new patch, like a patch where you get a whole new talent row. That'd be so cool to me. Like I know, like that's like they should have that for like an expansion, but that's just a cool idea. But yeah,
it's cool if they're new talents. It's not cool if they're the covenant abilities.
True, and okay, one more thing. So I want to talk about Afterlives, the Maldraxxus Afterlives. I don't know if y'all watched that yet.
I watched it. Yeah.
I feel like they started off with the wrong one. Whenever they started.
No, well, I realized it out of nowhere,
dude.
But
Draka's
they're doing it
fucking
in order
boring.
Draka is fucking boring.
Draka
but they're doing
is dumb,
the Afterlives in order of the zones that we level in.
Well, that's fine. But listen, like, why couldn't they make it about Mograine? Like the literal Ashbringer. Like the literal fucking Ashbringer is in Maldraxxus.
That's
like,
fair.
why not use him? He fucking like
because she's the key to saving Maldraxxus.
You could show him crafting the new his new like Maldraxxus Ashbringer. Like imagine that. Everyone would be like freaking out, dude. Like it makes me.
You just gave me a boner.
Stay safe. Yo, what's up, dude?
Hi, Stay Safe.
Stay Safe TV, the chat? Okay. Holy fuck.
So, Soldier Hard, I agree. Draka isn't boring.
Well, when I say boring, I mean the episode was boring compared to the Uther one. Okay, that's what I meant. Like Draka's a cool character.
Episode, comparatively. Yes. I'm sitting here I'm like a lore nerd, and I'm like,
Draka is badass.
Draka like that. To be fair, I like Uther more, but and then you said Alexandros Mograine, and I'm like, okay, that would have been.
You got
really
a point,
cool.
yeah,
exactly.
Like, and like I think it's because they're gonna have their like a banger first one of Uther, and then the last one's gonna be a banger
Garrosh.
with Kael'thas.
Oh.
True. Yeah.
Because it's Venthyr.
Ooh,
so, like they announced the last one is Venthyr. And the other thing I noticed in the BlizzCon panel when they announced the Covenants, they're like, "Oh, people you might see. Oh, well, you're gonna see Uther in Bastion, and you're gonna see Draka in Maldraxxus, and then you're gonna see Cenarius in Ardenwald, and then you're gonna see Kael'thas in Revendreth." And I'm like, okay, 2 of those have already matched what they said at BlizzCon when the announcement.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be Cenarius and Kael'thas, and that would also make sense because they're gonna end on a banger, of course. So.
Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be dope.
I think pre-patch will come out the week after that last episode, because if my calculations are correct, the last episode is going to be on the 24th, and then 3 days later is the 27th, which is 1 month before the game. So my guess is the 29th for pre-patch.
Actually true.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. Pre-patch will probably come out, right after the Venthyr one. That makes sense.
Have you guys played the pre-patch on the PTR? Like, I haven't even touched it at all.
I have.
I play beta because if I'm gonna do it, I'll just play the beta because it's basically pre-patch plus.
Yeah. What do you think of what's on there? Like, do you think they're holding back anything, just for the sake of surprise, or like because I just have no idea and I haven't paid attention.
It definitely felt like there wasn't very much. Like, it has its like bit of story that's pretty good, and you go do the story parts. I don't want to spoil anything. There's not a ton to spoil, but you go do the story bits, and then you go to Argent Tournament at the end, and you get dailies at the Argent Tournament grounds. Which I'm like,
dailies.
I'm
shit!
I remember doing that. You know,
it's kind of nostalgic.
8-9 years ago or whatever, running and doing stuff in the Argent Tournament grounds. It was fun, but like to have such short regular content for then just dailies in one zone feels not the best. I would have liked more of a Legion invasion style thing where I can go to different zones to level my I can level alts using pre-patch.
I really liked Legion's pre-patch. I think that was the best.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. And I thought that they marketed the pre-patch to be like that though, because they said Scourge invasions at
out in the world or whatever. Yeah,
BlizzCon. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing I will say is once I hit that point of like, okay, I'm done with the story. It's just dailies now. Going back into the main city, turning into an undead and killing people was super fun. Like there was just a group of like 20 of us as zombies running up, and we like freaking one-shot people that were trying to turn in quests. And to me, that's super fun to just mess with people like that. And I kept like going into Rich's stream, and I was like, "Bro, let's make an undead gang on PTR." And he's like, "I'm in Ukraine, I don't have PTR." And I'm like, "Ah." I think it would be super cool to like, because you could do that with streams. You could be like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna make an undead gang. Anyone who wants to come, we're on this server. Come and like turn into an undead and let's go kill people." Like that sounds super fun to just go do with your friends or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Is this gonna be a little? I mean, like, hopefully, like, if like people are like coming into the game like and they're like wanting to level new characters, like they're gonna have a rough time with all of the zombies. But I think the zombies will probably die down after about a week. Honestly, I think it won't be as bad.
Have to fucking deal with it, man.
Well, that's also true.
They have to put big boy pants on and take the soy lattes out of their mouths and just deal with it.
I do hope they nerf it a bit. I think it can be nerfed a little bit because you're definitely a little too powerful. And Soldier Heart said you have a buff that protects you from the zombies. And
that's good.
There's definitely
like
they
new player protection.
I hopped on PTR like day 1 of it or day 2 of it. So it was right before any changes went in or anything, and you could just run around as undead and kill people.
One shot everything. I know there's like a button where like you like literally explode and infect everyone in like a 20-yard radius or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me seems really fun. Like I just want to run into the auction house and just and
I will say it did feel a little unfair because I logged on it on my priest, and since I'm a priest, I can cure disease. So if I get infected, I just click one button and I'm not infected anymore. But only if you're a priest or paladin or any other class can cure disease. I'm not sure which. Or a healer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't have that luxury. So like, if you're running around as a warlock and you get infected, you're like, cool, I better find someone or turn into a zombie. I think you can also talk to NPCs to get the buff taken off of you.
I think there's healers in the Cathedral District that can cure you too. So that's kind of like a cool like lore thing about it too. Is like you got to go talk to the priest or whatever in the cathedral.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just want like some big ass events like this, like the invasions, you know, that bring the fucking bring everybody together just to like accomplish bullshit around the world. Like that's just what WoW is about, and it feels like that's kind of slowly dying, and WoW's just turning into a fucking single player RPG.
I kind of saw. I was watching a video. It was actually Mr. Jan's video, and he was saying about like the rewards from the pre-patch are like kind of lame.
That was my next topic, Like. I think that, but they're placeholder.
I think it's a placeholder. I think they're gonna, because like even like in the BFA one, like they had like BFA specific pre-patch stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So and they had like there was like a mount in the BFA one, like if you did like the burning of Teldrassil or whatever, like you can get a mount on Horde and Alliance or whatever. Like so I thought that was really good. I think I really hope that there's more. That the rewards are like unique and cool, because like that's kind of like what like whenever like they had like the old Scourge invasion, like you could get like the reset, like the remake of the tier 2 for paladins, and it's like a recolor, and you can't get it anymore. Like it's out of the game. If you don't get it, you don't have it, right? And I want them to have more stuff like that in the game. Like if you miss out, tough shit, dude. You know.
I think they'll add something like that though, because they did that with the stupid the fucking what's it called mount, the fucking the Deathwing mount from the 15th anniversary thing.
I didn't
know.
get it.
So it's like if you weren't there, then you're SOL.
I would
good.
love to see a transmog associated with pre-patch. I'd just like it to look good because the Legion one doesn't look good. I mean, I only have the plate and the cloth set because those were the only characters I did the Legion pre-patch on. But like, I never used those. I think I used the gloves for plate here and there, but like the entire set, it's like this is just a recolor of a different set. And it looks all right, and then
I fucking hate
the
recolored
one
anything,
actually
man.
looked terrible. I'm fine.
I think
I'm fine with recolors as long as it doesn't take away, as long as it's not like a replacement. I feel.
You know what I want them to do? I want them to go back and this is like totally random and like off topic of everything, but I wanted to say it before I forgot. I want them to go back and redo all of the old mounts and like retexture all of the old mounts. And
I thought that's what they were going to do, but they're not. Like they've remodeled like a lot of like the Night Sabers and the horses, obviously, and the wolves. I want to say,
yeah, but
like a lot of other old mounts.
But like the old class mounts are still like 16 polygon or whatever.
Garbage.
Right? Like they're
exactly.
There's a new version of every single one of those class mounts. Like there's the newer looking horses. There's the newer looking skeletal horses, which look badass.
They should just renew it.
Yeah. It would be cool, but you know, there's also like
it's a lot of work for them.
It's hard because they already have those new versions in the game, to where now if you make those new versions easily accessible, then people who went through the trouble of like, oh, I farmed out Midnight for this red skeletal horse, and there's one that looks very similar to it that I can buy for 50 gold. It's like, 100%. then Midnight isn't as special. Then the PvP ones aren't as special for this really cool looking skeletal horse.
And
that's what you were saying.
Unless they remade them into a newer version that was like, oh, this is just a new repixelized. That would be better.
Or I think at least Paladin mounts. At least they should redo Paladin and Warlock mounts, right? Like the Warlock, like Death Steed or whatever it's called, Chaos Steed or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know
they gave a Paladin mounts to like new Paladin
to dwarves.
Mounts to like different. Exactly.
Dwarves have a new Paladin mount, and it's really fucking cool.
I play a Zandalari Paladin. I got a new Paladin.
Well,
mount.
yeah, but I'm talking about like a blood elf Paladin. With instead of it being like the red horse, it'd be like a red Hawkstrider with gold armor. That'd be so fucking cool.
Yeah, gotta have the red cock.
I used that red horse like all the way up until I race changed. I was riding that red horse. It's one of my favorite mounts in the games.
Or just redo the red horse.
It's a great one.
And I think it's because I leveled my Paladin. You know, I mentioned that race to 55. I got all the way to 65 before Wrath came out, and on a prop Paladin. And so I then went through the quest to get my Paladin mount. So like my Paladin mount as a blood elf means a little more to me because I went through all this trouble to get the mount. And I got it. I remember it was like a day before the pre-patch came live and the change went into effect, where it was just a spell that you learned from your trainer.
Yeah, I think even like with like the new like dwarf mounts, you still have access to the old horse, right? You still have the horse available to you as a dwarf. Because I don't know. I see it. Like I have a dwarf paladin, so like whenever I type in like charger, I see the horse, and then if I type in Dawn Strider or the Dawn Forge Ram or whatever, like I see the ram. So I think there is both.
I definitely wouldn't know because I've only either played a human paladin or I've played every paladin race on Horde, but they all have the specific Tauren Paladin mount has been in the game since Tauren Paladins were allowed in Cataclysm. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I wouldn't know. Because they don't give that to the Horde Paladins. They only give it to the Alliance, I guess. Because the Alliance were able to use them for the longest time.
Alliance are better. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, true. Speaking of just like class quests and class mounts and shit, like I said, I've just been, since I'm unsubbed from retail, I'm just bullshitting and leveling on the beta. And I'm leveling a druid. He's like level 12, whatever. And like they just give you the fucking forms. Like, oh, you dinged level whatever. Yep. Oh, here's the floating fucking icon of the cat form. It's just gonna land on your fucking action bar.
I just leveled up a druid like not too long ago, and it definitely, I liked the quests behind it.
Literally every time those floating icons just go into my action bar, I report it as a bug. Give us a fucking class quest for this. Submit every time.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they thinking? Like, I mean, I know that they've probably been gone from the game like for a long time, but you know,
it was like so cool. I remember being like a level 30 Blood Elf Paladin and revisiting my trainer, and he had a quest for me. And I got to go on this adventure, and I got a pole arm out of it. I got this like cool looking Blood Elf pole arm.
Yep, I remember that quest.
And like the Alliance Paladins got a hammer or whatever. Like just in the middle of their leveling, it's like, here's a piece of gear.
Here's a really cool item
for doing this quest.
Like whirlwind
it's
axe
like related to your class. So like whirlwind axe, all those things were so cool. And like that, I mean, I do miss out on it on Classic a little because I play a hunter on Classic, so the only class quest I got was to tame a pet.
Right.
But like having those in game makes the game feel so much more alive and gives you a lot of class identity. It did come back, I feel, in Legion, but like if you're leveling now, you're not doing that Legion content of like, here's all your class quests. Here's a literal storyline for your class. That was like really cool, but the only way you're gonna go back and do that is if you want the mount. Like no one else is going back there to do it, or the transmog for the artifact appearance.
The only thing close enough to like, you know, class quests coming back ish, I guess, is on Exile's Reach. Like they give you like little class quests for like your Void Walker or
Warrior had one for Execute, and it was really cool. Like you like fight.
Those are really nice to see come back, but I think they should have class quests kind of sprinkled out throughout the 1 to 50 like leveling up experience, like in vanilla where you have to get your demons at each whatever level and your forms at whatever level, and I don't know, man.
And that was the other nice thing. That was the other nice thing, that even for the classes that didn't have abilities tied behind class quests, they still got class quests. Paladins, like warriors, like they still got those.
But then you're out of fault, like if you're not leveling in fucking Exile's Reach, then you don't get them in the old world. But then I guess like if you're a new player, it doesn't really matter, because if you're a new player, then
you're forced into it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I am actually really excited to spam Exile's Reach for all of the weapons and gear and armor, and I just want to do.
I think there's going to be a vendor for it. I think Mr. GM said to me.
That'd be even better, because then I can just buy that shit.
Exactly, they're cool looking. Yeah.
But, we're. I'm saving Exile's Reach for myself because. Me and one of my friends who's resubbing for Shadowlands and another friend who's been subbed forever, we're gonna level through Exile's Reach and start new characters together just to experience this new leveling experience together, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That's dope.
That's comfy. That's
I have a friend. Cozy. I have a friend who I brought back to the game for Classic. The same friend that I mentioned before, that we would be like out to lunch with my friends and talk about WoW like in whispers to each other. And I got him back to the game for Classic, and he like surpassed me in level. I have not fucking leveled to 60 at all in Classic, but he's been like going hard, and like he's ranked 12 and like doesn't even play with anybody, and like he's going hard on Classic and like playing like against S-Fan and pre-mades, and he's like discovering S-Fan and whatever. So what was I saying? So he wanted to try retail at one point, and he did when they had like the XP buff. And he's like, oh, this game is so fucking fast. It's so boring. Like they just hand everything to you, whatever. I'm just like, yep, that's what I've been dealing with. So I told him to not touch retail until Shadowlands comes out, so I can show him like the new leveling experience and how much better it is.
Show him all the new fucked up stuff that Blizzard's gonna throw at him. Even better.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. I had a friend message me on BNet. I'm like wiping over and over on Carapace one night, and he just messages me. He's like, hey, should I play WoW again? And I'm like,
you're asking at the wrong time, dude. Like,
I'm like, yes, but not now. I was like, definitely come back for Shadowlands. Like, I'd really love to play with you, But like, unless you really want to full commit to WoW right now, like, don't play it, because to play it right now, you'd have to full commit and then have everything you committed to stripped away in a few months. But there's no other way to do it other than full committing.
Yeah,
that's
why,
at least in the way that most people play the game.
Yeah, that's why I've just been so unmotivated to play BFA, is because nothing you do really makes a fucking difference or matters, or everything's a fucking participation trophy and everything is the same reward, and goddamn, I'm so negative.
I'm not.
Like,
that's why I really stopped playing BFA content in like 8.2. Like I did like a little bit of heroic rating in 8.3, like, but then like everyone stopped doing it because it's like, oh, like it doesn't fucking matter. Like, who cares, you know? Like I did like my 5 massive vision, and like maybe I'll try to go get Mail Muncher, I guess. Like like the thing that sucks about trying to get Mail Muncher is that you have to play BFA content to get it. 'Cause you have to buy the fucking keys.
I got my Muncher. I was kind of, it didn't fully register when it dropped. I was just running a vision, and I popped the first mailbox like I normally do, not thinking about, oh, I'm doing this for Mail Muncher. It's just like second nature.
Yeah, exactly.
And like this weird worm pops out. I'm like, what's this worm? Oh, Mail Muncher! And then I like freaked out and everything. But like, I had fun pushing to 5 out of 12 Mythic with my guild, and then after we stopped running Mythic, like I joined Incendiary, and we've been doing Mythic and other stuff here and there, but like I haven't really cared all that much. It doesn't have anything to do with the people in Incendiary. It's that I already did this. So, like I already pushed it with the people I've been playing with for 4 years. So logging on to do it with a new group, it's fun, but like I'm kind of over it at this point. And so, and that kind of brings it back to like, that's why I play WoW, is the people and the friends. It's not because I'm like, oh, I really love like play. If none of my friends played WoW, I wouldn't play WoW. Like it's simple as that. And I mean, now I have more friends that play WoW. Now I've made more friends, so now I'm probably going to be playing WoW for the rest of my life. But that's kind of how at least I feel about the game.
Yeah, we're both going to level characters on that.
Yeah, I have my 55 mag or 58 mag heart orc DK ready to go. So whenever pre-patch hits, I'm like, it's leveling time, and I'm just gonna get that guy up. And then, you know. And then I'm gonna level a character with my wife too. Like I want her to play, and I'm gonna get her like, you know, she I have like my old like gaming laptop that she can play on, and it'll run it just fine. So I'll have her play that, and that way she can try it out, because I know like she wants to, but I don't think she's ready for like how much the game like pulls you in, like, because like once you realize like that there's so much to do, and like you're like, oh, like I can just like go farm appearances, or I can go like there's like mounts I can go try to get, or there's like I can try PvP, like there's like so many things that you can go do, right? And I feel like she's gonna get addicted and then become better at me at the game, and I'm actually kind of scared about that. Like,
you mentioned PvP. Yeah, go ahead, Corbin.
I'm gonna like full switch topics, so if you have something related, go for it.
That's okay. It's whatever. It's fine. Go ahead.
You saying old gaming laptop. Shadowlands is like really upping the hardware requirement, right? It
has like a dedicated GPU and an SSD. I mean, when I say old, I mean like 3 years old. You know, it's not it like I can run WoW at like 8 or 9 on it, and it runs just fine. So I think like in Shadowlands it'll be okay. It has like 16 gigs of RAM. It'll be good.
Thank God I'm getting a new computer.
How do you guys feel about the changes though? Because I know like a lot of people are like, we don't like the. I don't have a $50
SSD. Fucking shut up, dude. Like, just go buy a fucking SSD. Like, they're not that expensive.
Fair, I didn't have an SSD until a few months ago, when one of my guildies, he was like, we found out we live near each other, and he was like, oh man, I have an SSD sitting around, and I have 16 terabytes or 16 terabytes, God, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Sitting around if you want it. And so like I went up to his place, and he just gave me a 500 gig SSD, and
fuck yeah, dude.
Doubled my RAM just completely for free. But like that wouldn't have happened
Yeah.
unless I made that connection, and then I would be sitting here like, oh, I need to get an SSD, I need to figure out how to install it and all that. I mean, I know how to install it, but still.
Exactly.
Would have been at least
I think
a
people
little
make
bit of a headache.
I think people make too big of a deal on like little things like that whenever because like the game, like they're obviously like they're adding new textures to the game, they're adding better graphics to the game, they're like improving their engine, like they're doing stuff that's gonna make it require more hardware. Like you're not playing the same 15-year-old game, you know?
Exactly.
Like I'm sure people were pissed off whenever they added the new graphics in Warlords. And they're like, oh, like what do you mean? Like I have to have like a dedicated GPU to play WoW now? Like, you know, I can't just play.
I mean, if you're complaining about the quality of the game,
yeah,
then
if you're
you should
complaining
probably
about the
just
game
get the
getting
fuck
better,
off the
like,
internet.
yeah,
like
you should get the fuck
reason,
off the internet.
The only reason I do think of it is because I also used to be that player. I have a super old iMac sitting in my closet over there that I used to raid on, and people would always make fun of me.
I rated on a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, people would make fun of me because Valithria Dreamweaver in ICC, healers have to go into the Emerald Dream to fly around and catch clouds.
Yep.
I couldn't see the clouds. That's how bad my computer was.
Nice.
And we literally, our warlock had to get on his shaman and carry me in healing just so we could get past Val because I couldn't see clouds and he could.
Oh my god.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I remember I went back into it. I was prepping a character for Herald of the Titans, and so I went back in to get gear, and when we were running it, we were like, oh, why don't we do the Glory Achievement too? And so for that, I was on a level 80 Holy Paladin, flying around and catching clouds, and I'm like, oh, that's what the clouds look like. I can't believe.
Yeah.
No wonder he was the freaking Cloud Master. It was really easy
funny,
to do. But when you can't see the clouds and you're getting 15 frames a second, it's a little hard.
Yeah.
And so I feel like some people are stuck on hardware a little bit, maybe because of price, maybe because they're the 13-year-old kid in ICC trying to catch clouds because
True.
They're just working off of their parents' computer, and their parent isn't going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to spend $50 so just so you can play this video game on top of the expansion and the
it's an expensive game to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to think about how much I spent on WoW.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on race changes and shit and whatever. But yeah. I just spent fucking close to $1,500 on this whole setup here.
Hey,
this new computer.
I'm telling you, whenever you get that SSD in, FaceTime me. We'll build the computer shirtless. It's all good, man. We'll do it.
100%. Yeah, it's just been frustrating because this laptop that I'm playing on. Yes, I will. This laptop that I've been playing on is fucking dying, and I can't. Not only can I not fucking play games properly, but I can't do what I love, which is video editing properly.
I tuned into your stream a week ago, and you were running a slideshow of screenshots of WoW. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's I was watching the PowerPoint
thanks.
presentation.
Yeah.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel bad I haven't done anything as frequent as I used to, but it's just it's
I mean once you get your computer set up, you'll get back into it, man. You'll be like, oh, now I can get shit done. That's kind of how I felt.
I will have unlimited power.
Whenever I built my PC back in 2018, I was like, oh my gosh, I can play and stream at the same time, because I streamed on my laptop back in the day.
Adam, how's editing on that laptop?
It was good until, well, I mean, it can't really handle what it used to be able to. I used to be able to game, have the game open and the model viewer open and Premiere open and Photoshop open at the same time and have it be okay. Now it's just the fucking, the cursor or whatever in the timeline is just when I want to move it, it just does not go.
Yep.
The preview doesn't fucking do anything. If I have any too many things open, I have to close things to actually do anything. So it's falling apart, and I'm working on something now that I really want to get done quick. It's a machinima of the Bastion Afterlives, and it's coming out really well, but it's taking so long to do just because the computer is slow, and the process of making a machinima takes fucking forever. I spent 2.5 hours working on 15 seconds worth of a video.
Jesus.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just
if anything, if anything, my job with Rich has made me really realize how much I need a new computer. Because like,
what do you use?
So my computer's running a GTX 770, kind of an older graphics card. Definitely time for an upgrade. I'm on an i7, 16 gigs of RAM. What else am I missing?
Well, now you have an SSD, so that's hey.
Now I have an SSD. Although it is a little weird. For whatever reason, I've found that Premiere works better when I don't have my project file on the SSD. When my project file is on my normal hard drive, it works fine. And if my source files are on my SSD, it's even better. But if they're both on the SSD, for whatever reason, stuff will take longer to render and export. And maybe it's just because and like I talked with one of my friends who majored in freaking cinema arts about this. He's like, yeah, like they told us like, oh yeah, do it that way because SSDs are weird. And I was like, okay, it's weird. Well, but the other thing is like the stuff that I put on the SSD are the bigger files. So like anything that's usually over an hour or works with a lot of footage, I'm usually put on the SSD. Yeah. But like what really made me realize was not the last video I did, it was Rich and Violet playing A Way Out and Among Us. That video is an hour long. It references about 4 hours worth of footage from both their streams, so 8 hours total.
Wow.
You do a very good job,
by the way. That's a lot of work, by the way.
Shit, dude. The other thing is, well, actually, no. Oh, the other two Violet videos take from her stream. That one didn't because he had her face on stream. But what I had to do was because he just opened up her stream, I had to resync her. So I had to cut her. I had to crop her out and like move that section of video down the timeline a bit, and then having that whole cropped out double stack on the timeline, whatever. That video took, I think, 16 hours to export. Wow. Like it literally, I had to miss an upload for a day just because that video was rendering and exporting. Like Jesus. It was done a day and a half before it uploaded. And I had to sit there and just be like, cool, this just has to run. And I actually can't do anything because I'll just slow it down.
You know what the worst thing? Exactly. You know what the worst thing in the fucking world was? Like, a long time ago, probably like a year and a half ago or something like that, I did a documentary thing with like a bunch of WoW content creators. And the video was like 40 minutes long. And I put like graphics, I put fucking, footage of the game. I put a fuck ton of shit in that thing. And it took like 12 hours to export. And then I would export it and like, okay, this is ready. It's ready, whatever. And then I would watch the whole thing over just to make sure. Oh shit, here's a problem. Then I got to fix it and export it again for another 12 hours. Wake up in the morning. Oh shit, there's another problem.
That's the worst. I mean, I'm not an avid like creator of like long YouTube videos. Like I recently just kind of like got back into it, but like nothing makes me more mad whenever like I export a video and I watch it and I'm like, motherfucker, there's like one typo or like there's one thing and I'm just like, now I gotta go back and like, it just makes me so mad.
That is one thing that's a little hard having like the daily upload schedule is some videos it's like I pumped out a video today. I haven't uploaded it yet because I haven't made a thumbnail yet, and I'm gonna do that after this. But like, no rush because Rich really doesn't care if it's a little later. But like the thing with doing daily uploads is when I have a longer video like that, and then I catch a problem, I then have to ask myself, is this problem worth delaying the upload for another 4 hours just so I can go in, fix this one thing, and re-export and re-upload? Because that's the other thing is it's like, render and export might only take 2 hours, but then upload takes another hour and a half. It's like, cool. So we're sitting here waiting while like now would be a good time to just send it live. Do I just leave this one tiny mistake and then not worry about it because it's 3/4 of the way through the video and YouTube video retention is like 30% and like so then that number isn't actually accurate to how many people saw my little mistake and then how many people actually cared.
Yeah, true.
and I want to put out a good product. Like, ideally, I put out a perfect product. It's definitely hard with the daily uploads to make sure, to go back and make sure it's perfect, you know, because I'm sitting there like, okay, I could watch it through again, or I could realize, hey, it's probably not worth it at this point. And usually I try and watch them through again, but with some of them, it's like, okay, this is a 2-hour podcast. Can I watch it through again? Not realistically, because if I sit there and watch through another 2-hour podcast, that's less time working on the after show. That's another 2 hours. That's a 2-hour after show. Do I sit through and watch it again? Like, so some of the content's just a little too long to sit there and watch it through again before exporting, which is like the ideal, is that you catch it
as
during
you're editing it.
Like before, you do one last view through before you export. Then you can export and upload without worrying about it, because there's nothing worse than realizing your mistake once it's already on YouTube. It's like, okay, cool.
I know.
If I want to fix this, I have to be very obvious that I had to fix something, which did happen once.
I
So,
fucking hate that.
like, I mean, like, obviously, like, you know, both of you guys now are like editors for, like, you know, other streamers and YouTubers. Like, if somebody is wanting to get into video editing, like, in some form or fashion, they want to work with a streamer, they want to work with a YouTuber, and they want to start editing, like, what is that, like, how would you recommend them get started? Like, do you recommend just, like, having them make, like, fan
I'm still trying to figure it out, buddy.
Like, I mean, like, I just out of curiosity, because, like, I don't know, like, it'd be, like, I don't think, like, I would ever be able to, like, be, like, a full-time editor, because, like, I have, like, a full-time job already, and, like, I have, like, I have, like, family responsibility, I need, like, benefits and things like that, right? Like, it'd be, like, fun to do as, like, a side hustle, like, a side gig, but I don't think I necessarily have the time to, like, sit down for 6 hours and edit a 2-hour video, you know? But just out of curiosity, like, how like, do you recommend just, like, just have people, like, make, like, fan, like, compilations of streamers and just, like, upload it and
that's essentially what I was gonna say, is, like, you make stuff, like, for fun, and that could grab the attention of the person that you, like, hypothetically would want to do something for. And if not, then it'll get the attention of other people and be like, oh, like, hey, like, they'll hit you up, you know what I mean? Like, people have just hit me up, like, passively, like, just to say, hey, like, can you do this for me, whatever.
Adam made my intro, and it's fucking sick, dude. Like, I
made your intro because you're my friend.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, I really appreciate that.
Well, and I think like, because I saw this person on Twitter in, like, PewDiePie's editors' replies being like, oh, I want to make merch for PewDiePie, and I'm like, you're looking at the biggest content creator on the planet, trying to get their attention to make merch for them when they already have merch.
They already have, like, a whole staff.
They already have, like, they're already set. They don't need you to make merch. And like, the other thing I was like, you can't just, like, be like, oh, I want to apply to do this, because any job on the internet like this, you can't just apply for it regularly.
You have to have, like, a portfolio and, like...
Adam and I get tagged in stuff, sometimes together, like, of, like, oh, this person's looking for an editor, this person's looking for an editor. And every time I see that, I'm like, okay, I can DM that person and be like, oh, hey, like, I'm down to add another client or whatever. But, like, how am I just sitting there, like, being like, oh, I edit for this guy, I could add you in there too. And how could I be like, oh, how do I differentiate from the other people? Well, when Rich was looking for an editor, there were several other people posting on the Reddit being like, oh, I want to edit for Rich, but they'd post, like, one tiny meme that was like, meh. Or there would be people in Twitch chat being like, there would be people in Twitch chat being like, oh, I DM'd you, like, trying to apply. And, like, they didn't get a response. I got a response because I made actual videos. I was like, if I'm going to be doing this for you, here's what I do.
Yeah.
Here's what I would actually do. So you have to find, like, you kind of have to find someone with that opening and then grab their attention. It's a lot harder than, like, just applying for a job being like, here's my portfolio and resume. Like, they're not going to freaking really care about your portfolio and resume. So, and, like, that's kind of getting started, but you also have to actually have the skills to back it up. So, and then, like, so you have to have the skills to back it up, where it's like, oh, here's, how I am actually good. I'm not just, bullshitting about my experience or my level of skill. And the third thing is, I think you have to find someone that matches well with what you want to do. Because I could very easily be Cat Danny. I love Cat Danny. I've been watching his videos for 5 years.
Yeah.
But we're very different editors.
Different styles and everything, yeah.
He and Daily Dose of Asmongold. Asmongold TV is a very successful channel, but it's essentially segmented sections of Asmon's stream.
True.
Edited together, but there's not a ton of like creativity or stuff thrown in. And I know that those guys have that ability. I've seen when they use it, but that channel is mainly like, here's 4 videos a day of an Asmon stream highlight, and it pays really well. That's the other thing. XQC does the same thing. His editor just uploads sections of his stream.
Mizkif has the same style
spams uploads. Mizkif has 2 channels. He has one that's like that, and he has one that's more edited.
More like 10-minute clips, like 10-minute like.
And can I just interrupt for like 2 seconds though? Like you said for the Asmon channel, like it's all just like basically kind of the same, like just clips, segments of the stream. There was this guy named Asmon Boy who would make really ridiculous like over meme content. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he just like made his own channel and like made videos about Asmon, and then he just brought him on to the.
Yep.
Yeah, because his videos were so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And like that's what I was saying. So like if you like really want to do something for somebody specific, just
start doing it.
Throw content
you
to
just
the
gotta
wind.
grab their attention, right?
Exactly.
And then like finding that fit. So like I'm very happy working for Rich because I can kind of do the videos I want to make. And I don't feel pressured where it's like, oh, get, 4 videos out a day. Make sure you get this part of the stream in its own video. Make sure you get that. Like, it's like, nah, just make videos how you want. Just keep it 1 a day. And like, I looked at my average the other day and it's been 6 a week. It hasn't been 7 a week. And like, that's fine to me. It's like, I'm averaging 6 videos a week of, in my opinion, good videos. I think I've had 1 bad video that I hate and is also the least viewed video on the channel. So,
Which one? Why?
It's the Rogue Legacy 2 review. I hate it because it's not really a good video. It's kind of done in that like just a section of the stream taken and re-uploaded with slight edits in. So I didn't do a ton of editing. I made it when I was like super tired and exhausted. And Rich, it was also recorded when Rich was super tired and exhausted. So it's this product, and he was also not on the right setup to play that game. So he didn't like the game because he was on the wrong setup. I made a video, and he's tired as hell. I made a video out of it while I was tired as hell, and it's a game that, probably Rich's viewers really don't care about. So it's just altogether just not really a good video.
Whenever I had like asked you like how do you got started working for Rich or whatever, I actually had found Rich out from Call of Duty. Whenever because I used to I was like really big into Black Ops 3, that's when he was casting casting full time for MLG or whatever, or for the COD League or whatever it was, right? And so like I actually found him through Black Ops 3 and like him and Courage were both casting for Black Ops 3, and so I had found him through that, and then by coincidence, I figured that he was a WoW player. So it was just like, oh, like this is like perfect. Like this is like I can watch a streamer like I like what he does or whatever. And his casting skills are insane. Like he's so good at it. Like he's just like it's literally like a second language to him. But I was like it's like you don't know that you never know like who's a WoW player. Like I think that's the coolest part about WoW.
Yeah.
Is like so many people play and you're like, oh, like what do you mean like Courage is like a mythic raider in WoW right now, like what do you mean he's like he's so I don't know, that's random.
I didn't get to meet him at BlizzCon. I was so upset. Like him and S-Fan are the 2 people that I wish I could have met at BlizzCon.
I met S-Fan at PAX South and he's so nice.
I saw
the clip. when I think back, I'm like, I would see Asmon posts on Twitter every week, going live for Allcraft with Hodded and Rich, and I would be like, hotter than rich, who megalol? I don't care about these guys.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here like, I edit that podcast that I would just not care about on Twitter.
Yeah, true. That's fucking crazy. I don't know. I'm just so grateful for the fact that I'm friends with Mr. GM, and he went into Rich's chat one day and decided to say, "Oh, did you ever see this video, by the way? My friend AdamShwaginz made this fucking animation of, like, WoW Machinima about you." And
Mr.
then he
GM
fucking...
is the boy. Like, Mr. GM is such a good person. Like, you know, you can't ask for, like, a better friend in the community to have than Mr. GM. Like,
I don't know where I would be without Mr. GM.
I probably would not be sitting here with you guys if it hadn't been for Mr. GM being like, "Hey, here's this video." Unless Rich found out about you somewhere else, but that's how we met Adam, was through Rich's stream.
That's true. Yeah. Fuck.
The WoW community is the best community on Twitch. Like, and like I know, like, because like if you ever like stream like Counter-Strike, it's like literally people like saying like KYS and like racial slurs in chat. Like that's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
Or like League of Legends is the same thing. Like they just troll the shit out of you, right?
Dude, I tuned into the Dota. The Dota tournament that Rich was casting for. The chat was like,
it's
really bad.
It's bad.
It was so bad.
And I know like WoW has like its bad eggs, right? Like every community, like no community is perfect, but like I feel like overall, like even when I was like watching like Halo on Twitch or like Halo 5, whenever Halo 5 first came out, I was watching that on Twitch, or Call of Duty, like WoW players are just like, they're just like, you know, they just love the game. Like even if they hate the game, they love the game. And so like it's just like the best community. Like I don't ever want to stream any other game because like I just love the WoW community so much. Like I just, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah. There it is.
But oh, and I was gonna say, so like the reason why like you and like Rich work so well together is because like you're like whenever like your editing style is like you can mimic his voice like in your editing, and like it doesn't feel like somebody else is like tinkering with it. I feel like that's like when you say like, oh, you got to find somebody who fits your personality style. I think that's like a really big thing, because like
and that also kind of gets back to, you know, how I say like, oh, I have this background in working backstage for entertainment, whether it be like, and my primary thing is like designing lighting, stuff like that. And when I look at that, I go, okay, how can my lighting enhance this show that I'm working on? So then when I'm sitting down to edit a Rich video, I'm not sitting there saying, oh, how can I look like the best editor ever? How can I make my editing skills, you know, broadcast to the world? It's more so I ask, how can my editing make Rich better?
Yeah.
How can my editing make this content more fun to watch? It's like the editor has to kind of get out of the way sometimes. It really depends on what's being edited. But like a lot of the times the editing has to better tell the story or better enhance the comedy, right? It shouldn't be like, oh, look at the editing, look at how good it is. It should be like, this is funnier because of the editing, but I'm not laughing at the editing, I'm laughing at the content.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing makes me more happy whenever like I'm editing a video and I'm like laughing the entire time. Like it's fun. Like I don't know. Like I even though like I only like do it like, you know, once a week or once every 2 weeks. Like whenever I do get a chance to edit, like if it's like whenever I got Invincible, like I want to make that Invincible clip into some sort of YouTube video, right? Where I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. But like just like I even like thinking of my reaction, like getting them out, like I was like I like freaked out. Then I started like kind of crying, and then I was laughing at myself for crying on the internet for getting a fucking for getting a bunch of pixels, and then like I just like broke down and like my stomach started hurting because I was laughing so hard, and like then I was like in shock because I got them out, like so many like emotions all at once, like it was like super late at night, so like I like screamed, but I forgot like my 3-year-old's asleep, so it's like like it it's crazy.
I cry at anime, so I will not fault you for crying at WoW.
Hey, some anime has a good story. I've only seen one, but like, you know, like I don't.
What one?
Sword Art Online, the first season. I feel like that's just like a good like staple anime.
I want to like leave the podcast right now.
Wait, why? Is it bad? You don't like it?
It's bad anime. It's so no, I don't like it.
Well, like it was like my first one. Like obviously, like as a kid, I watched like Dragon Ball Z and like I feel like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon aren't considered anime. Like they're just not anime because it's such like a cultural like everyone watched it. Like I feel like anime is like a niche thing.
Fuck, well, I don't watch
One Punch Man. I love that.
Oh, because I'm bald? I get the joke. I know what he looks like, okay? Bald but never mauled, okay? You never mauled. You're only bald.
Hey.
But I don't know.
Words to live by.
True.
Bald but never mauled.
I am getting a Lich King tattoo on my forearm next week on Tuesday. So
That's sick.
I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about it.
When you get it, you should at World of Warcraft. They'll probably like it.
I should. Well, I'm getting the outline next week, and then probably in 4 weeks after that, I'll get it all shaded in. So I won't tweet it at them until I get it all shaded in because I want it to be a finished product, unlike Blizzard does with their expansions. But anyways, like
I'm really scared that they're gonna reforge the Helm of Domination and just give it to the champion of Azeroth.
No. This is what they're gonna fucking do. They're gonna remember how they have the transmog helmets back in the day, like the ice one, like the ice skull, fog down. They're gonna do that with the fucking Helm of Domination. It's gonna be $25, and every motherfucker's gonna buy that thing. But obviously I don't think that they would do that, but that would be a very Activision. I wouldn't put it past them exactly.
I feel like there are some things that are off limits. I thought Ashbringer was one of those until I was holding it.
Yeah, until everyone was holding it. Everyone who had a paladin was holding it. Yeah.
Yeah. True. There's some things that definitely should stay off limits, and Frostmourne and Helm of Domination are two of those things.
Well, Frostmourne lore-wise is shattered. So, but we got the shards of Frostmourne, we got the splinters of Frostmourne or whatever, which is I didn't like.
Why do you think, this is a very random thought, but why do you think that they gave us Ashbringer and not Atiyesh as a mage?
Right? That's a good point. Imagine Arcane Mage getting Atiyesh would be so fucking cool, dude.
It does have to do with lore because you already have a Guardian. Khadgar already had it in WoD. So since Khadgar had it in WoD, the only way he doesn't keep it is if he dies, right? And so, they killed Tyrion, sadly. I actually cried during the Legion invasion.
Damn.
They just killed him,
going
gone.
to the Broken Shore.
He's gone.
I was like, Tyrion, no! Varian! I was freaked. That was so... one of the best moments in WoW, in my opinion. But also, it did feel a little bit like, I'm walking around with the Ashbringer. I feel like Metaphor Soundwave brought up mages got a Luneth, and it's they got a Luneth, but a Luneth is kind of an older weapon in the lore. So when it's an older weapon like that, I feel like that's more fun. Or Silver Hand, Holy Paladin's getting Silver Hand. I didn't really mind because Uther's been dead.
Yeah.
Right. No one's been
Tyr's
using
Hammer.
the Silver Hand.
Tyr's Hammer also.
These people have been dead, and so if you go and get their weapon, I feel like that's not a big deal. For them to kill a character so that you can get Ashbringer is kind of and it's the Ashbringer. Yeah. It's the Paladin weapon. Yeah. Right. And it is the weapon I always wanted, but still, it's
not
kind
in
of
that. I'd rather get it in a different way. Yeah.
I'd rather it stay that legendary. I can't have that weapon.
Yeah, but you want it, kind of thing. Yeah. I think. I feel like the Arms Warrior artifact, Stromgar or whatever. I feel like they just kind of made that shit up, and I feel like it wasn't really in the lore. They just kind of made it work. I feel like they should have done the wooden axe, the wooden enchanted axe from Broxagar. I feel like that'd have been a way cooler artifact weapon. Having Broxagar's axe, because it's a wooden axe and it's enchanted, so it fucking cuts through anything. And I feel like that would have been a way cooler Arms Warrior weapon. That's just a random tidbit, but...
Well, and the other thing with,
or for Survival Hunter
is I feel like the coolest ones were the new ones.
Yeah.
At least when I think about, the Paladin ones, I'm like, okay, cool, Ashbringer and Silver Hand, they look cool, their alternate versions look cool, but the coolest one is the flail that Prop Paladins got from Mage Tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coolest ones were the new ones that they kind of got to do whatever with. They weren't locked into making it look like the Ashbringer or looking like, this other thing.
Yeah. That's big true. I'm actually really excited because now they're allowing you to transmog any artifact weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I think they should have done that in the BFA, like once BFA came out. Like I don't know, like I feel like they have like these like silly restrictions when like there's no need for it. Like it's kind of like why even have it there in the first place? It's like, and that's kind of like going back to like the beginning of the podcast where we were talking about corruption vendor or and don't like and we've like talked the corruption vendor to death on this podcast because like not only is it like not only is it like a bullshit band-aid fix, but it's also on a weekly rotation. And it's like even there's like even like RNG in the vendor, like you don't get the same like level every single week when it comes up. So it's just kind of like I don't know. Anyways, but like I like how they're finally adding more freedom to like transmog and things like that. But I wish that they would do that in other aspects of the game where like like there doesn't need to be like this system that is holding you back, right? Where you
the game needs to be more of a fucking like sandboxy, like make your own adventure type thing that it used to be. Now it's just a fucking RNG based, fucking collection based, fucking you're a fire mage and that's it.
And don't get me wrong, whatever. I love collection stuff. I love transmog and I love mounts. Right, I love farming. That's literally all I do on stream is I farm transmog and I farm mounts. Like that, I love that stuff. But I want to do content too. Like I want the content to be good. Where like I want to do heroic raiding. Right. Like me personally, I don't have the time or the energy to do mythic raiding. Like maybe if it was like once a week, like mythic proc, like after we have like heroic on farm, maybe something like that. But like. I'm not going to be no cutting edge, like top 10, top 100 raider. Like there's no way. Like I have a job.
Well, what I liked so much. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You.
What I liked so much about Legion, what I was going to say was that like you had a reason to go into like all forms of the content, right? So for the Order Hall, you had your class quest line. And the class quest line, I hope, is going to be like the model for the Covenant Order Hall, the Covenant quest lines, whatever the fuck. So like I want to have like a quest line that I'll follow that's like themed around my like Covenant, so that I can go into like so they send me into the raid, they send me into maybe PvP or some shit, they send me into some dungeons, right? Like I have a reason to go and do all of this content because I know that there's gonna be a reward at the end of the path that I want to work towards. And that reward was the mounts, the class mounts that we were given in Legion, and just being able to complete the whole campaign. Was there anything else? Artifact appearances,
a bunch of
going into
for weapons.
There were so many different things you can do in Legion that like you can work towards and chase after, and then BFA like just fucking killed all of that, and everything is on a conveyor belt of like, oh, you didn't get this in your chest, wait next week. Well, I don't know. There's just got to be a change, man.
And I also think about like late Legion. I mean, I didn't actually play 7.3. I stopped playing mid-tune with Sargeras because. Really? Was it?
It was so much fun.
Wow. I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, I was about to make a point of like, oh, you didn't have those same things to chase after, and I know that a lot of people felt like once the story on Argus was complete, you were just running the same dailies, and it was kind of just that treadmill experience. But that's only what I've heard. I walked into Antorus once while it was live, so
Antorus was fun.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
It was a good raid. The one time I went into it.
Yeah. I remember doing it like every week because I specifically wanted to get the gear, and like the gear was fucking great, and I was in this guild that was doing it every week, and like, I mean, I just stopped raiding in BFA because like I say it all the time that like the gear is just like not interesting enough for me to go get and like chase after, and like I just didn't have any fucking reason to play BFA because of that.
And I feel like what Chocolate was saying with like how he mainly does transmog and mount runs on the stream, and like he doesn't really care to push mythic content. I think that's most players. Most players, at least like most players of retail WoW, are max level and they run heroic. In my that's what I see generally, and maybe they'll go into Mythic once they have Heroic on farm. That's what my guild is, even though like my guild raids 3 nights a week. Like it's a 9-hour commitment every week, but we clear Heroic and we have it on farm, and then we'll come back and maybe clear Mythic later. But like that's most players, is they're probably mainly running normal and Heroic. They're not going into LFR. They're not going into the Dungeon Finder. They're like, and I mean, for the best, right? You don't get stuck in random.
What do you think of LFR? Do you think they should delete it, or what do you think?
It's too, in my opinion, it's too late to delete it. And I also was that person, like back in MOP, and late Cataclysm.
Maximus, what's up, brother?
I was that person that ran LFR. I wasn't that person that was like, oh, I'm doing what I do now. I was not playing the game enough to where I would do 10 arenas a week, and I would I'd run LFR weekly. I'd do all of the LFR content every week, and then that would basically be it. I wouldn't really do dailies. I wouldn't push challenge modes and dungeons. Like I was the casual for a while, and I think that that avenue still has to exist for those players, but it's only gotten so much worse. Like to where people are like, oh, LFR N'Zoth is harder than Mythic N'Zoth.
It's LFR is actually harder than normal mode and it's not that like the boss is easier, but like the people that you're with make it more difficult. Mm-hmm. Also, Maximus, thank you for the huge raid. Thank you.
Thank you, Maximus.
I mean, there are like the casual people that like don't have time to do like, you know, Heroic and whatever the fuck. Like I always think that like LFR should be like kind of like a scenario, like, you know, like an introduction to the raid, so that you don't have to go to third party, you know, like YouTube or whatever the fuck, or guides to figure out like how the bosses like actually work. You know, like it should be a prerequisite to unlocking normal or Heroic.
But they already have like the guide, and literally in the dungeon guide, it tells you all of the mechanics. Like people are just too lazy to read it.
Yeah. And like the other thing is they gate LFR content longer than they gate freaking Mythic. Like it's like, true. It's like, we'll release one wing a week of a 5-wing raid. It's like, but I could just step into normal and do this. Why are you gating content to the casuals?
Yeah.
Maybe because some of them resub, do the raid on LFR once and unsub. So then if they resub at the start of a patch, then they have to wait through 3, 4, 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then especially if it's a 5-week release schedule. That's 2
sub months.
Then that's 2 subs.
Yeah.
True.
They get $30 instead of $15.
Everything revolves around the monthly sub. Like I have that is like, and it's not even like tinfoil hat theory. Like it's pretty like obvious what they're doing, right? Like that's what they do. Like even like the corruption vendor, it's on a 4-week cycle. Every 4 weeks you can get the corruption that you want, or like if it like your like desired corruption. If you want Twilight Devastation, it's on there every 4 weeks. So every 4 weeks, guess what? Your sub renews, and it's just like over and over and over.
How the hell is it on a rotation?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like I would love to try out new builds. Yeah. I almost made a big mastery build on my paladin. I was already kind of locked into haste crit, and then when the corruption vendor came out, then mastery was the new meta for ret paladins, and I was like, I'm not changing, because then I have to farm a ton of echoes, wait for this, you know, rotation, get like, if it was just getting new gear to try a new build, I'm down. I'll go get the gear. I don't care. Like, but if I have to sit on this weird rotation just to get my mastery corruption so that I can try a new build that's, you know,
that may be better,
5k DPS better, like the other, like there's another ret paladin in my guild, and we like compete a lot. Mind you, we're always like number 3 and 4 on the damage meters, but she's always right above me, and she changed her build to mastery. And it's like, that's cool that you can do that. It sucks that you can't do that easily. It would be really cool if I could be like, oh, I want to try out this new build. Or maybe I play a fire mage and I want to try out arcane. Like, What if I want to do that?
Everything different. Yeah.
And then Shadowlands with the freaking soul vines just seems to make that harder. It's like, why is it harder if I want to try out this other spec that my class has to offer?
Well, and not only that, but like every covenant like soulbind, you have like 3 different soulbind trees, right? So really, if you think about it, it's like, oh, one per spec, but like some of them are just better than the other ones. Like some soulbind trees are just like it's just like a better tree. Like you want to use that one for your DPS spec, and the other two might be like okay, but like I feel like you shouldn't have to like. I think them time gating it to only changing it once a week. I would rather them have a gold cost to it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that's better than a week.
That's how it is in Classic.
And that's how it is. That's how it is with Azurite gear too. Azurite gear is a gold, but like the Azurite gear, the gold didn't have a cap at the beginning. Like you had people like literally like it would cost over gold cap to redo their Azurite trait. Yeah. Like that's ridiculous. But like cap it at like 10K. 10 like if you're really hardcore, you're gonna have the gold to make it work, right?
I went ahead and just I have 9 pieces of Azurite in my bag because I don't want to go back and like if I'm mid raid and my guild is like, oh, we need you to swap prot for this boss because someone had to go for an emergency. I can just click respec to prot and then click activate on my other gear set and then I'm good to go. And like at least that avenue is open to me where I can just have that available. Like soul binds should be like, oh, I can, even if it was a gold cost, being like, oh, I can change this on the fly when I'm entering a new boss and I have them in my inventory already, rather than being like, oh, changing this, it's going to destroy my old one and then I can't switch back easily. So this is going to be like a 5-day change. And this is also like, I don't know why this hasn't been brought up yet, but I feel like the Zandalari racial, you get a buff dependent on which Loa you choose. You choose. Mm-hmm. It's a 5-day cooldown. And luckily it doesn't have a giant effect, but like you can switch between, there's a bleed, there's a 4% crit proc, there's a absorb shield, and then a damage and healing buff. And I sometimes switch between the tank one and the crit one because the crit one kind of fits for both healing and DPS. Mm-hmm. But if I'm gonna be like, oh, I want to tank this week, I then have to be like, okay, I have to go pray to Kragwa and then be okay with having the Kragwa buff when I'm in ret and take a slight DPS loss. Slight, but at least it's slight, right? If they're gonna do that, I think it sucks. I don't think there should be a 5-day rotation on just the Zandalari racial.
Yeah.
But at least it's slight. But they seem to take that bad slight design from the Zandalari racial and apply it to everybody in the freaking game.
Yeah. I just don't like how like people are like, oh, like if you're like for pull the ripcord, you're just like a hardcore elitist. No, like you're not. There's fucking bullshit. There's casual people who are going to be affected by this in a negative way because they can't test out builds. Like they can't just like play the game and test it out. Like they have to like if you fuck up on your soulbind, you're stuck like that for a week.
The people that say that aren't playing the game at a serious level anyway. They're just farming transmog and RPing and fucking Goldshire. You know what I'm saying? So like unless like
even like a very casual player, because like I would consider like I'm like a casual player, right? Like I'll do heroic raiding if I have a guild and I have like if I have like a group to do it. Like I love doing that stuff, right? But like even like me, like well like what if I get a new soulbind and I want to change one out, and I have to go get another soulbind to replace the one that I just changed out. Like it should literally like I said earlier, it should literally be a Azurite essence thing, and it should, and like Soldier said in chat, it should be spec specific. Like you should be
I'm just not sure why soulbinds exist, to be honest with you. I just don't think they're a good idea at all. I think the covenant ability is probably enough, and that's it.
Or
I don't know why they exist
at all. Or just have one or the other.
It seems like a lot of the game, like since Legion, has been kind of based around the Legion artifact, weapon kind of skeleton. where like Azerite pieces and the Azerite essences kind of follow that. Like they're things you unlock. You have to fill up a bar to get more AP. But at least with Legion artifacts, everyone in your spec was running the same thing, right?
Yep, 100%.
And you, all of us were like, every single Shadow Priest
had the
was
same
locked into the
full tree.
same weapon.
Yep.
So it was like, cool, all of us Shadow Priests know what's best, and we're gonna do that. But if you're sitting there, you have 4 different Shadow Priests across 4 different covenants, and if they're swapping specs often, they're affected by that because they have to go after what their primary spec is rather than being like, oh, my 2 specs progress are separate. That's the other thing that's nice about Legion is I didn't have to feel like I was taking a hit to Shadow by going and playing Disc a little bit. But if in Shadowlands I want to go play Disc a little bit, I feel like I can't because I'm locked into Shadow with this specific build. Yep. Unless it just so happens that my Soulbinds match up and my Covenant choice matches up well. If that doesn't happen, then screwed.
I just want to point out what Maximus is saying in chat. It's like the game. It's like you're locked in a certain way that you play the game because like Blizzard is telling you how to fucking play the game, pretty much, right? And when you go to other games like Elder Scrolls Online or New World, you can build your character in specific ways that you find appealing and that you find fun to play the game, right? Like in WoW, you're just like locked in a certain way to play, and there's no customization. Sure, you can give your fucking elf ears like longer or shorter ears or a fucking blind eye, but you can't customize the way your abilities work. You know what I mean? Like there's
and I'll say this: the thing with like you can build differently in WoW. I don't with my paladin. I'm not running the ideal ret build or prot build because I don't build mastery because I think it's a boring talent on both. So my prot is haste burst, even though it should be haste mastery to be ideal, and my ret is haste crit, even though it should be crit mastery to be ideal. And I like having that ability, but that doesn't exist for everyone.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you do have your other Covenant choices. You do have choice in WoW, but the thing that sucks is like in New World, I'm sitting there and I was mainly focusing Warhammer, but I could switch to Hatchet whenever I wanted. I knew that Hatchet was the best, and I could go start leveling Hatchet and it wouldn't be a big deal. Instead, I have to, in WoW, I have to go through this whole ass thing just to change my build a little bit rather than equipping a different weapon or switching a talent slot or, doing something like that. And Dubsy, Incendiary Santa.
Why? Like, I just don't understand why they just decide to go with the complete unpopular choice for a lot of things. Just for what? For the sake of what? I don't understand.
Money.
And it just drives us all away. No, but it drives us all away. So they're losing money.
They think that they're gonna get as long as they get the money up front, they don't care what happens as long as they get your sub that day, they don't care what happens the next 29 days until that sub renews and on that 30th day. That's
well, and it's like I think we're like all of us were sitting there when Shadowlands was announced, like, oh, these covenants look really cool, and then when we all started thinking about the practical effects of it, it was just like, cool, it's not cool anymore because
of all of the power that's tied behind it.
It's interrupting, what the player wants to do.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, just overall, we should be able to swap the fucking Covenant ability between, all 4 Covenant abilities. And I think that you should just stick to the Covenant that you want to stick to for the sake of the lore and whatever the fuck and aesthetics, and that's it. That's just how it should be, man. I don't see it going any other way. And since we're the fucking Maw Walkers, whatever that means, and that we've helped every 4 Covenant, we leveled through each zone and we've befriended basically all of the people in each Covenant, then why shouldn't we be able to, lore-wise, switch between each of their abilities on a whim? You know what I mean? Yep. I just don't understand why they're just
they are going to fix it. I have no doubt that they're going to fix it, but it's going to be it's going to be the same thing like they have now. They fix it, but it's almost kind of too late. Like it's almost like too late for them to like for it to really make a difference. Like people are still gonna be salty about it, you know. Like they're like, oh well, like why couldn't you just do this like 49 days before the expansion release? Like you know, like you have like you're still pushing beta builds.
There's still time. I think there's still time.
Like they're still pushing beta builds. They're still pushing like new content to the beta. They're still doing a bunch of stuff. Like why not just fix it? Like cut the cord now. Fix it now. That way, whenever the game releases, everyone is like much happier. And then like that way you can just play the game. Like just like Blizzard is anti us playing the game. Like we're World of Warcraft players. We want to fucking waste our lives playing this game.
Purgatory
like, why stop? Like why hinder us? Why not just let us do it? Like we're gonna do it anyways. Why not just let us do it and have it at least be like enjoyable, right? Like
yeah.
And not be stuck behind these silly systems. They're all silly. Can't stop WoW from fucking... Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's true.
But I think it's probably about the time we start wrapping it up. We always kind of end with the last question is always simple. Is like always the same one. But Adam, you got it. Ask the last question, man. You always ask it. So.
I've just been feeling like pretty negative about fucking Shadowlands lately, and every time I want to ask this question, it's just like, ugh. But what are you most excited for in Shadowlands after 2 hours of ranting about everything World of Warcraft related?
Not everything was negative that we said today. Like we have some positive stuff to say. Like I'm still excited for Shadowlands. You know, like
what corporate loser are you the most excited for Shadowlands?
It's probably the lore for me. I think
me too.
This is kind of the first time we're entering something really new.
Yeah.
Because like we have all these like known things about the world and WoW and all these things. It's like, oh, we know that Pandaria exists. We know that N'Zoth is out there. We know the class faction war that's happened 5 times over, and it's you know, it is what it is. But now with Shadowlands coming out, it's like, here's this new realm that has been whispered about a little bit, and here's all these new characters that you're meeting for the first time. Like, it's all completely new and fresh.
Yep.
And I'm really looking forward to the lore. Like, and it does kind of suck that it's like, oh, what I'm most excited for is the lore, but like, I think it's going to be really good. I think the lore will actually be pretty good, and I'm excited.
I'm really excited if it's anything like BFA though. I'm gonna be really fucking pissed off because the BFA lore sucked. And
it was really bad. Yeah.
I'm also really excited for the lore just because I'm kind of going into Shadowlands like with the idea that that's WoW 2. That it's like a completely different realm that we're going to. We're gonna explore different characters' lore. I don't give a fuck about Jaina, Thrall, Bane, Anduin. Fuck out of here. I want to explore the new characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I already know them. Exactly. I want to meet new people.
I've already been through that, right? Like,
yeah.
And I am excited for Sylvanas. I feel like I'm the only person that really enjoyed the cinematic. Like, I was pogging out and like running around my room watching freaking Asmongold restream BlizzCon and him and McConnell freaking out about it. I was freaking out much more than them when I watched that cinematic. So, like,
listen,
it was a good cinematic, but
it was a good cinematic. I just don't like the character. I don't like how they've been telling her story. Like I don't like the villain she's become. It's not.
It's
like,
just like from pre-patch until Shadowlands, we don't know what her fucking deal is.
Well,
you know what
like,
I mean?
It's not like she's the Lich King and she like. And whenever like Wrath was out, like Arthur was all up in your fucking face. He's like, "What the fuck you gonna do about it? Like you're in my realm now, bitch." You know, like he was like Big Dick Chad, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, like that's Arthas." He showed up in like almost every single dungeon. The quests he would like show up and be like, "Oh, like guess what? I'm about to mess up your world right now." And have fun.
Well, hopefully that's going to be the way with the jailer. You know what I mean?
I think that Sylvanas' story still can be told well. It just really comes down to how they end it and how they explain her motivations behind all the Shadowlands stuff. I agree. Because like when I cried when she became War Chief, because I'm sitting here having played through all of Warcraft 3, and I've been watching this character for so long develop.
Yeah.
And she's like one of the last characters from Warcraft 3 that's still developing. And it just kind of like, when all the stuff happened in BFA, it was like, why did you change? You weren't this. Like, the only thing that kind of relates is like the weird stuff she was doing in Stormheim with Legion, but like it still felt like that made sense, and then it just kind of shifted to like, oh, she's evil now.
Yeah.
Like, she was the one who was like against the Forsaken freaking bombing the Wrathgate. Like, that was not done under her.
Yeah, it wasn't even her own people that did that. Like, it was like rogue agents. Yeah.
Yeah, but now she's acting like those undead.
Yep.
It's
true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there are reasons behind what she's been doing that just haven't been explained. And from fucking pre-patch of BFA until like later into the Shadowlands, we're not going to know. We just haven't been in any idea of, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? we just have no clue what she's trying to do, and it's that's why I'm like not happy with the story of BFA, because like everything was just kind of like a cock tease, right? Yeah. Sylvanas' story, what's her deal? N'Zoth, are old gods happening? What's the whole fucking expansion? We're just like waiting for the old gods to come up, and then when 8.3 comes out, we're just getting fucking visions and dailies. Definitely not what anybody expected, but yeah. Anyway, it was
yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how it plays out. Like, obviously, like, I'm excited for launch day. I'm excited for pre-patch. Like, launch day is always fun. I'm kind of nervous that like my baby will be born on launch day, because that's like, it's like her. So like my wife's due date is November 11th. But she can basically, like, whenever you're like 38 weeks pregnant, you're basically full term. So like, it could happen on the 26th. Like, it just could happen. Like basically like the week of Halloween through the 11th is like baby time. Like that's when the baby's gonna be here. So I mean, if it happens, it happens. Like, I kind of hope that like the baby's born on like the 25th at the earliest, and then expansion comes out and I can play the expansion more. But like, if it happens, it happens. Nothing I can do about it, and it'll be good. It'll be a good reason to hopefully I just need that kid to stay in there a little bit longer. Just give me like a solid week of the expansion. Like, that's all I need. Boys, everyone needs to go follow. Everyone needs to go follow Corporate Loser on Twitch right now. I put his link. I put his channel in the chat, so go give him a follow.
Go subscribe to Go subscribe to Rich Campbell on YouTube.
Yeah, Rich Campbell on YouTube as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, link it up, dude.
I will link it. I'm grabbing it. YouTube.com/.
And follow him on Twitter.
Twitter. Yes.
Follow me on Twitter.
We will put all of his socials and everything in the description of the YouTube video of this.
That
podcast.
Rich's YouTube is what I edit for. That is my job. And here's my Twitter.
Job.
You guys can follow me.
Job Omega Lol.
Job Omega Lol. Imagine working. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, boys, it was a great episode. So much fun, dude. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It was a blast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, dude.
Of course, man.
I know you got a little bit more work to do. Work Omega Lol before you call it a night. But man,
it's
guys.
9 p.m. It's 9 p.m.
Oh,
here.
that's right.
Late.
Yeah,
you're not late at all.
You're a West Coast boy. That's right. Damn. It's like 11 o'clock.
It's tomorrow.
I'm like debating if do I run more raids in WoW right now, or do I go to sleepy time? So, but then again, like,
I'm going to sleepy time.
I know Adam's going to bed. He wakes up at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, he tweets before I go to bed. Like, he's on Twitter, and I'm like not even in bed yet. And I'm
it's like the people who drive by each other, like the people who go to work at 6 and who go to bed at 6, and they like drive by each other like, what the fuck?
It's like, oh, I'm going to bed if I go to bed at 3 a.m., that's 7 a.m. for Adam, right? So,
I'm up and having breakfast at that time, man.
6 a.m. So
I'm normally up by 7. Yeah, by like 7 I'm normally up because I have a kid.
So
and my kid wakes me up.
I don't have to feel as bad, although I also used to be the person that woke up at 6 a.m. and went to the gym, and now I'm not that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Hey, Tyson rating with the party of 20, man. We're just wrapping up, dude.
Hey, well, this is the end of the podcast, but we're gonna continue to do some mount runs. So
good.
Yeah, okay. we'll continue to party. So I appreciate you guys for coming on, and always Adam's always on, but This
yeah,
is
thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
This is actually this is basically Adam's podcast, and I just kind of run it. But you know,
no, it's your podcast, man. You run the show, man.
Yeah,
it's both of your guys' podcast.
This is our podcast.
That's like saying Allcraft is Asmongold's podcast. It's like, nah,
true.
Bro.
Yeah, it's ours.
It's Asmon and Rich's.
It's ours.
It's our baby.
That's true. Well, thank you guys so much, man. And yeah, that's it, boys. That's it.
Thanks, man.
Peace out.
Yeah, man.